Today's discussion is going to be to keep your garden producing from the hot summer nights through those frosty mornings of fall. Now, introducing a fall garden can be tricky because you must begin planning for cold when it's scorching hot. It's 92 degrees and 60% humidity right now at 6 p.m., but it is time to think fall. And we're going to start with a quote from F. Scott Fitzgerald, who once said, "Life starts all again when it gets crisp in the fall." So our gardens should be no different. So why do we need to plan for a fall garden in the middle of summer? Well, first, our gardens are currently full of summer vegetables. And if we have a fall garden, we need to plan now on where we're going to put them. So for me, my determinate tomatoes are dying off as their job is done. So I already have an easy choice to use for a fall crop. But maybe I'm tired of my cherry tomatoes, and come fall I can pull that place up and plant some fall crops there. So the idea being is you don't if you don't plan now, when the time to seed and plant comes, you're going to panic and you're going to get stressed. So lay it out now and enjoy it later. The second reason you want to plan now is some seeds need to be put in the seed trays or the ground right now. So certain types of winter squash, cabbages, cauliflowers, pumpkins, etc. need to be getting started in their trays today so you can plant them later in the ground. So we kind of got a non-typical setting going on. A lot of mowing is going on outside. Kids are out playing. I couldn't delete the noise or back it out, so we came inside because this is the important part. So these are the 8 great starter vegetables for a fall gardener, and there are countless others that these can almost grow themselves. So these are great for beginners. First one up is the Burpee's Butterbush Butternut. So this is number 1. Days to maturity for this guy is 75 days compared to a typical butternut, which is 100 to 110 days. So a lot faster. You want to plan to harvest this guy about 14 days before your average frost date. So I still have 95 days until my average frost date. Takes 75 days from seed to harvest. I still have plenty of time. I've already got a seed tray going for these, and they're already gotten their tree leaves, so they're ready to go out into the garden. Now, this guy is a little bit different than your typical butternut. So he's small, he's compact. It's roughly 12 inches in height and about 60 inches wide. So little compact guy. You can expect about 5 squash per plant for this little bitty vine, which is still quite a bit of output for as small as it is and as big as the squash are. Now, great thing about this, it will store for months. So if you harvest this in October, you're talking about finishing these off in March. Now, a butternut squash can tolerate a light frost, and it actually sweetens the fruit. The problem is it reduces the storage life drastically. So if you want to eat one and have some frost on it to consume, save 1 or 2 for your vine, get everything else harvested and get it inside to the warm. Once the night temps dip into the 40s, these plants are going to back off and die, so make sure you have everything harvested before then. And in my area, we're going to start seeding these in mid-July. Number 2 on my list of fall vegetables that can almost grow themselves, lettuce. So, seed to harvest for lettuce, it's going to be 30 days for loose leaf types, 70 days for your head lettuce. Lettuce can survive the light frost, but you will need to protect it from a heavy frost, just a bucket or a simple plastic cloth for it until the next day when the frost passes. And when the temperature drops below 32 degrees, the plant's going to start to die off. So go ahead and harvest everything you got before that point, bring it into the fridge. It'll store 7 to 10 days in a plastic bag. Now for me, recommended varieties, my first one is the Gustav's salad lettuce. So this is a butterhead type lettuce. It is delicious. It's very sweet. It's very compact. You can do one head per person on this guy. I highly recommend it. You will not be disappointed. My second recommendation for lettuce is Merlot. So Merlot is more of a color for me. So it adds a lot of texture to dishes or salads. It does have a nice taste. Um, and it's just one of those things that when people see it on their plate, they're like, wow, this is cool. So I recommend this guy. It grows very well. Just needs a little bit of water during the fall and it takes care of itself. The last one, this is my favorite of the loose leaves. So this is Forellenschnitt. So this is a German loose leaf lettuce. It's green with red speckles on it. The name is actually called speckled trout in termination. So it kind of looks like a little trout. It will turn into a head lettuce, but I prefer to keep it this loose leaf, harvest it as I need it, and then when the time comes to take it off, just bring it into the fridge. So in my area, I'm going to plant this guy late August to start seeding it so it can start getting established through September. And if I'm square foot gardening, I'm going to get 9 loose leaf lettuce plants per square foot, and we're going to get 4 head lettuces per square foot. So number 3 on our list of fall vegetables that can grow themselves are carrots, but not any carrot, the Parisienne carrot. So these are small 2-inch diameter carrots, perfect for shallow soils. They don't need that rich, deep soil that the long carrots do. Seed to harvest for this guy is 70 days. Ideal temps for it are 50 to 75, but it will handle warmer. You want to leave this guy in the ground until after the frost. So the frost will make it sweeter. It's not going to harm the plant. You can basically store these in the ground all winter long, as long as your winter temps are below 40 degrees and your ground doesn't freeze. So you have an outside refrigerator. Now, all carrots are great for fall, but the ease of growing this carrot puts it on the list. Now, square foot gardening wise, you can get about 16 carrot plants per square foot. And for zone 7B, we're going to start seeding these early August. Number 4 out of the 8, one of my favorites, Swiss chard. So Swiss chard brings vibrant colors to your garden or your kitchen. Seed to harvest is roughly 60 days. Ideal temps 50 to 75. However, this guy will tolerate summer, so you can keep him out all year long, and it will survive an occasional 30-degree night. So I lose mine when the temperatures get to about 28 degrees or lower. The Swiss chard will die off and it will not return. It's still a staple in my garden. I have this until the end of December most years, sometimes even as close as January 1st or 2nd. Swiss chard seeds are a multi-germ seed. So this is a term that we need to know. Multi-germ means that there are multiple embryos in every one of the seed pods. So where maybe in traditional gardening you put 2 seeds per hole to increase your chance of germination and having a plant, for this one you would put 1 because there's multiple seeds in here. So you'll actually, in one little pod, you can get a yellow and a red or an orange, and you can actually clip it off so you can control the color of what's growing in your garden. From a square foot gardening standpoint, if you're doing that, this is 4 plants per square foot. And again, in 7B, we're going to start sowing these in early August. Number 5 on our list, kale. So kale, 60 to 80 days from seed to harvest, depending on the type. Ideal temperatures are 45 to 85 degrees. And I have kale that survives all winter without protection in 7B, North Middle Tennessee. Now, it will not get bigger during the winter, so you need it full size before winter hits, but it never dies off. You can easily take multiple frosts and light snows with this guy without protection. If you're going to have multiple days of snow or deep snow, I would recommend that you protect it and cover it until the snow passes. Now, kale has a sweet spot of around 50 to 60 degrees where you get the best flavor. And I know a lot of people rolled their eyes when I said kale because they say it's bitter. Not in that 50 to 60 degree mark, and not for the two varieties that I'm going to recommend. So when I'm talking about flavor, my first one is scarlet kale. This is a gorgeous purple plant that's out there. You'll love it. It's a great side dish. It's a great garnish. It's great wherever you put it, and the color is amazing. Now my favorite kale, I don't go without this in any garden season, is the Nero di Toscani. So this is an Italian leaf heirloom. I call it dinosaur kale because when it gets to be about 12 inches long, it actually reminds me of dinosaur skin that you see in movies or in encyclopedia books. For square foot gardening, you're going to put 4 plants per square foot. And if you're in 7D, you want to start seeding these in the ground or in your seed trays around late July. All right, so for 6 and 7, we're getting into my favorite vegetables. So number 6 on our list, radishes. Now, but some of the radishes are quick turners for your garden. You can harvest them in less than 30 days, and there are several types. 3 I recommend that are less than 30-day varieties. The French breakfast radish. So this guy is kind of a small cylindrical radish. He's not round, but it's mild. It does have a spicy flavor, but let it sit through the frost and you'll love this. Number 2 of my quick turners, purple plum. So the outside is a really deep purple and the inside is white. So this is a very colorful garnish or very colorful addition to your salads. Both of these, like I said, they're 28 days from seed to harvest. There's many others, but these are 2 of my favorite ones. Now, another radish to add with spectacular color is the Chinese red meat radish. A lot of people know this as the watermelon radish. So from seed to harvest for these guys are going to be 60 to 70 days. But it's worth the wait because when you slice one of these open, oh, the colors pop. And everybody else is going to go, hey, what is that? Add these to your garden. Now, ideal temp for radishes are 50 to 75 degrees. They'll even taste better after a good frost. So don't be afraid to leave them in the ground. You can let them have multiple frosts. If you're square foot gardening, then you're going to put 16 radish plants per square foot, except for that Chinese red meat. And then you want to put 9 plants per square foot because it is much bigger than your typical radish. So in my area, I'm seeding the Chinese red meat radish in late August. And for the quick turners, the French breakfast or the purple plum, I'm putting in the ground late September. So number 7 are beets. So seed to harvest for beets is about 50 days, but an ideal temp of 50 to 85 degrees. Beets are also a multi-germ seed, so just like the Swiss chard, you only need to put 1 seed pod in per hole. If you're going to get multiple plants come up, you can thin them out for bigger beets, or if you prefer the smaller beet, then leave your 3 to 4 plants there. You'll get a smaller beet the size of maybe a golf ball, but it will be much sweeter. Square foot gardening for beets, you want to put 9 per plant. So these guys are a little bit bigger. You want to give them their space, or if you're not thinning them out, you want to give them their space as well. Some of my favorites for beets is the Chiaga. So this is the red and white swirl. So it's very colorful. It's also less staining because you got that white to kind of balance it out. Bull's blood is another great tasting beet. This is a deep red. When it says bull blood, it means it. It's very juicy. It will stain anything. So make sure you're wearing gloves if you're dealing with this guy, but it's worth it for the taste. And then my favorite is the Cylindra beet. So this guy is not round. Yeah, it's like a cucumber shape. So it's long, but it's got a cylindrical body. And the great thing about this one is when you're slicing it, it doesn't try to roll away from you. So it prevents accidental cuts on your hands. You can just hold it and slice it however thick or thin you want. So in my area, we are going to start planting beets mid-August, so a couple weeks away. Number 8 on our list are going to be sugar peas. So sugar peas you can harvest in 70 days. Ideal temp for these guys, 45 to 85 degrees. They can handle a frost, and this will actually be one of the last flowers out in the garden available for bees. So it has some importance there too. It's one last little meal before winter comes. My favorite is the Mammoth melting sugar pea. So the pea inside, when you pick them early, is almost non-existent. So you just get the sweet flavor of the pod. If you want to collect seeds, then you just let this guy fully develop and you'll get the typical pea size that you're expecting. If you are square foot gardening these guys, you're going to put 9 per square foot. Just keep in mind it's not always easy to come up with a trellis system for the first layer of peas and then the back layer of peas, because they kind of get a little bit tangled up. So if you're going to trellis these guys, I'd recommend maybe you put 6 and not follow the square foot rule of 9. For peas and 7B, you're going to start seeding these guys late July. All right, so we're back outside. So the next thing we got to talk about is pest controls. So these are mainly spring vegetables. So when you're putting them out in the spring, they get a chance to develop before the insect pressure comes back out of winter. So right now you're going to introduce these guys when bug pressure is at its maximum. So you want to protect your winter squash from the squash bugs, but you're at the height of activity right now. Remember that roly-polies or pill bugs, they may be fun to play with, but if you got root crops, they can destroy them by getting inside and eating it, and they'll also gnaw some seedlings down. When it comes to watering, you got to also remember that these guys are used to cooler weather, so you want to make sure you give them adequate water while they're trying to grow and establish themselves and help them fight off that heat. You want to this will help prevent wilting of lettuce in the summer, and your sugar peas. Just continue to make sure that they are getting the adequate water. And then if you want to throw a shade cloth on during the day or the hottest part of the day, that'll help as well, and especially for your lettuce. So if you can give them a little bit of shade during the hottest part of the day, they would appreciate it, and it's going to help them thrive once the weather cools off. All right, guys, so comment below on what is your favorite fall vegetable. Let's talk about it. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to this channel, turn on that notification bell, and most importantly, share this video with someone you know who would like to do a fall garden and maybe just needs a little bit of assistance, or someone who would just appreciate the video. If you also need additional help, you can watch the videos that are popping up around me. They will help you as far as harvesting and storing, or discussion of the carrots, or even growing some squash and zucchini in containers and tomatoes, if that's what you're going to do. See ya.